All right, guys, welcome in to everybody. Sorry, my head's a little bit ways down here. Um, Hope that the live feed's rolling good. Some everybody that's coming in, if you don't care, just let me know there. I'm gonna give this just a minute or two for everybody to come into the house. Gather up here. Give me just a second. I'm gonna make a few more adjustments here, guys. I don't know about everybody else, but it was sure cold down here today, man. I about froze out working at the tiny house factory today. Done 5 tiny houses before I leave to go to Michigan to do some video work with Ron Dalton up there. Man, I was hustling to get that done. It was just so cold. Um, Guys, I'm going to just give this a minute or two for everybody to get up in here. And I promise that next week on the live that I do next week before Sabbath, that I'm going to have better lighting in here. I've got another lighting set up, so it's not going to be a lot of shadows and all that stuff. Hey, good to see y'all too. Glad to see everybody coming in. And I'm just going to give this another minute or two, guys, before we get started. That way that I'm not starting this content and then everybody kind of has a trickle effect. I'm going to tell you, though, tonight I'm going to mention a lot of different things as far as building a bug out bag, get home bag. But on the flip side of that, I'm also going to give some honorable mentions for stuff. You're just going to see the gear here in a minute. I'm just going to kind of step out the way, start explaining it all. But with that said, there's not really a right way or a wrong way to build a bug out bag. A lot of people say, well, you should do this, you should do that. Everybody's needs in life is different. Some people are preparing to get out of the situation to come. Some people are prepping their bags for getting back home to their loved ones if stuff hit the fan, whether that's economic collapse, World War III, Seven Trumpets of Revelation kicking off. You know, everybody's preparing a little bit differently. With that said, I'm going to step back for a second here, guys, and I'll pop in and out of the camera here with you tonight. What you see right here is this my fiance's bug out bag. Hey, blessings, guys. I'm seeing your comments. Now, guys, once I'm going to get wound up here in a minute. If y'all got an important question, just super chat me. It gives me a notification on my phone. I'll stop what I'm doing and address it. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep moving forward. If I see a comment in passing, I'll stop to see what it's saying and catch up with you, okay, if I can. So what you see here in front of you is two different bags. This is my bag. This is my fiance's bag. Both of ours is built a little different. I'm not going to strip down Abby's bag tonight. I just want to show you that everybody's bag is a little bit different. This bag has got reflectivity to it. She's in the city. It would be walking on the highway to get back home. This is a great visibility. It's not like you're trying to hide, be undetected, just trying to be careful to get back to where you're going. And it's only thankfully, it would be about a 30-minute hike. Now, a lot of different gear, fire, food, shelter, the whole 9 yards. It's all in there just in case that it had to be a shelter-in-place situation in her vehicle at her employment or at the place. But now my bag, I've stripped down. I have a bazillion elements laying all over the place. I didn't strip my water or fire down because I'm going to show you that first right here, guys. Sorry, give me just a second. I'm going to scoot this camera back just a little bit better. That way I can get down in the frame with you. All right, and guys, if the phone cuts out tonight, I've got it on a different power source too. So if it cuts out in any way, I apologize. I wasn't trying to let this thing die. I just didn't have the power cable long enough to where I'm working from tonight. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to set this bag down, and then we're going to break down this bag right here. Hey, good to see you guys. Well, and guys, we're going to cover a lot more prepping stuff just like in the past. And just a 411 to anybody that's coming in the building. Next live video, I'm going to give you all guys a step-by-step journey from the past decade, how that I left Babylon and come to the way of the truth. And I'm just going to take you every step of the way, and I hope you truly enjoy it. Shout out to my son if he's watching tonight. I'm drinking from the mug he got me recently. So here's what we got, guys. With a bug out bag, all right, just back it up here more. I apologize for all the adjustments. With a bug out bag, everybody's needs, like I said, is different. Now, when I started tailoring my bag, I was wanting to prepare for multiple days of insanity. What can I do to get by for at least 3 days, right? That was my whole premise. And most people, I think, 72 hours is a real good place to start as far as getting prepared for what's to come. Now, this is just sanitary items, razors, toothpaste, deodorant, etc. And also just keep a few knickknacks in there. Sometimes put a little bit of medicine if need be, or essential oils or something. If I'm traveling for a headache or whatever, I'm not going to get into that. It's just the usual knickknacks and stuff. Regular sanitation. I'm going to get into important sanitation later. That instead of just like staying at a hotel working on a job site, right? Like I do a lot. Okay, so I've stripped everything out of this bag. Now, with a bag, I think that you should get a bag that's tailored to your comfort. When I first started out, I had a bug out bag that was full military, full pack. I mean, dude, it was loaded to the gills. And the thing is, if you're not wearing that hiking, if you're not training with that daily, it doesn't do you no good, because you're just going to be worn out and have a heart attack and die trying to run down the road with that thing when stuff hits the fan. So what I done is I got me a regular tactical backpack that's good for about 3 days. This is like a 3-day style pack, and it was something good for me that I could use as a carry-on at the airport, because I have it compartmentalized now where I can take out the things that's not TSA approved and etc., and still have things that I need for when I get to wherever I'm going in case something happened. So I encourage you to get a pack that's tailored to your personal fitness level, and something that you can use consistently. Like if you're going on a hike, wear it. If you're going to go take a walk, wear it. That way you have the comfort on your body. Love that shirt. Thank you, guys. Abby made this for me, and it's got Psalm 68:4 on the back there, where it's still got the Most High Yah's name in the King James Version Bible, because people look you sideways when you say praise the Most High Yah. I mean, people still say hallelujah in church house, but they don't know that they're saying let us all praise Yah, right? So anyway, yeah, Abby got me that shirt, guys, and really appreciate that from her. It's a wonderful gift. So with a pack, though, and I'm going to start in the gear in just a second. I'm just trying to lay the foundation. This is the foundation of your whole bug out bag, is your bag. If you cannot comfortably, the gray gear you feel. Okay, guys, I'm just trying to keep up with some of the comments starting to filter in. Your bag is everything. If you can't carry your bag, then everything else in it is no good to you, because you're just going to end up having to ditch your bag because you're going to have a heart attack for not being on wired. Okay, does that make sense? So, pretty much, I'm going to cover just one tidbit here. I keep a knife, okay, a fixed blade knife, on my bag so that I can reach and pull if I had to in self-defense. And I've got a lot of self-defense we're going to go through in a minute of stuff that I keep in the vehicle or on my pack. But one thing that I will say is a lot of people will wear a water bladder in their pack. Now mine, I can do that. I don't do that. I'm going to get me a bladder in the future that I can put in here when the time comes, and I'll show you the thing that I keep with me as far as water goes all the time. Because I keep water in the vehicle to get me through pretty much for about 3 days most of the time, if all possible, guys. Because I'm also on the job site a lot too. But these are the compartments on this pack: multiple side compartments, a back compartment, middle, and full back, which is pretty much where I keep clothes, an extra change of clothes. I think you also should keep extra pairs of underwear and 2 changes of socks too, because if you get your feet wet and etc. Now, so where the fun begins, where are we at? We are right at almost 10 minutes in, and it's time to get this party started. Now, I'm going to move the camera up closer, and we're going to start taking these components out one by one and address them. So the first thing that I'll address is fire starting, right? Now, Zippo makes these matches, and it is called Typhoon, okay? These things are monsters, all right? I'm not going to light one up in here and set the fire alarm off, but I encourage you to check this gear out that I'm sharing with you. Now, what I'm sharing with you, you can get anything you want, guys. This is all about helping you get ideas tonight and helping you get prepared, all right? Now, with that said, this right here, when I was working in Alaska, one of the guys was on the crew with me. We were out one day fishing, and the dude literally went hypothermic almost. It was an off day pretty much for us in a way. We still had to work a little, but anyway, I took some wet wood and I lit this signal flare up and I stuffed it down on the ground. And it was so hot that it dried out the wood and, you know, caught everything on fire pretty much around it. And we got a campfire going and it kept him from freezing, pretty much about freezing to death, no joke. Um, and so, you know, that right there is a super important tool to have. I really encourage anybody to get you a signal flare because it can be great for starting a fire. Not only that, but if you needed to signal somebody from a way off distance, it's a dual purpose item. This right here, guys, you can get this nowadays at Walmart for dirt cheap. I think it's like $1 a pack. Instafire is great stuff. I mean, this will absolutely get you a fire going. It's really handy, just a great starter, low drama, just light it up and off you go. Now, I keep some waterproof matches, okay? And that's always a great thing to have. Now, right here, these are zombie tinder. They're jellied cotton is pretty much what they are, okay? Right there. And tear off what you need, put that under there for fire tinder to get things started. And pretty much that's a great little start. Now I'm going to show you some honorable mentions, and when I say honorable mentions, it's because that they're not in my pack. Okay, and I apologize. I'm going to be stepping around the camera a lot tonight, guys. Now these are honorable mentions. Okay, I don't want you to get confused. So, like I said, anytime I say honorable mention, it's not in my pack, but highly encourage you to get some. Pyro putty. All right. Open this bad boy up right there. Pull you off a pinch of that, pretty much like, the Vaseline and cotton, for example, right? Now, a little dab goes a long way with stuff like this, okay? So don't waste, your contents of what you've got. Now, here's an honorable mention. Lord and Field company makes this, and it's the old flint and steel. Okay. Now, I've never been good at it. I've never been good at starting a fire with that. I think it's a skill that we all should get back to. But like I said, I've never been good at this. So it's an honorable mention, but it is not in Luke's pack as of current. Now, I keep some cheap Bic lighter, stuff like that. I always end up using those when I'm out on the road for tightening or heat shrinking. Sometimes when I don't have a heat gun with me, so I'm bad about using those up. But guys, I encourage you, those are dirt cheap, and it's great to throw in your pack too. Now this right here, if y'all didn't see the Battle Box review the other day, this right here, this pull string fire thing is like the 4th of July celebration in a box. This thing right here is an inferno. I mean, literally, I roasted kosher marshmallows on this the other night in about 30 seconds after pulling the string. This thing is worth it. Now, if you look this up on Amazon, I believe the 3-pack is like $20-something, but it's very nice. I mean, when it absolutely, positively needs to burn the forest down, this right here will get you done. Okay. Now, I'm going to say this. There's a lot of stoves. I have I didn't get it out of the truck, but I have gear in my truck extra that I don't have in my bag. So I've got extras of a lot of stuff in my vehicle, even in case that I lost my bag or something. I have a cylindrical stove that's probably in a tube about that big. Pulls out, you take the sticks, you make your grate, and then you put your legs in it, and it's a nice little stove. This one right here is one of those little fold-up stoves that's got the fuel bars. I don't have the fuel bars sitting in it just right now so you can see what's going on, but there's a lot of these little stoves that you can get dirt cheap, guys, if you don't want to mound up some rocks, or you might be in a place that you can't really make a good grate or something to hold up to cook you a meal or whatever. There's a lot of these stoves that's dirt cheap. You can get it like Bass Pro and etc. Now, what I done though after the other day, I made a judgment call to load some extra weight in my bag with the Hellfire rocket stove right there that came in the recent Battle Box, because it's like Lego blocks and some of like that metal art stuff you see nowadays, and it can fold down. and go in a nice little pack that's like paper thin, like a small magazine, and go in your bag. And the thing about it is, I left this together the other day after I used it, and get this on up on the table. Sorry guys, I'm gonna be adjusting the camera different times tonight, but I left it out there as an abuse test, and I got to be honest with you, I let it get rained on. I think it's been sleeted and snowed on now, and it's barely any rust, discoloration, anything to the metal. So I think what I'm going to do is wipe it down with coconut oil, store it up, and put it back in its pack whenever run it through the wash and everything. And then I'm going to put this in my pack, and this is going to be my stove because I've been thinking about it. I'm like, this will give me plenty of heat. And then also I can cook off of it. So I'm adding a lot of weight to my bag, but somebody just asked what's the weight on this. I don't know. It's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 pounds, I would say. And I may be wrong on that, guys. Don't quote me on it. Matter of fact, let me look on the box real quick and see what the box says. If the box says the weight. It's 2 millimeter thick steel, but it doesn't say the exact weight on it. But I mean, it'll take temperatures in excess of 1,000 degrees. I mean, this is a beast of a stove. And like I said, you know, portable heat source that's dependable. I'm not going to have to worry about, you know, shear winds and stuff putting it out. So, you know, that was kind of what turned me on to getting or putting that in my pack. And so that's going to take the place of that other stove, the little small one. And that's really one of the largest weight items I've ever put in my bag. But I'm kind of got my bag set up now that it's not a shelter in place. And matter of fact, I gave my son my one-man tent. I'm just going to try to stay on the move whatever happens. I just don't want to have a lot of weight in my bag, but fire is absolutely something you need. I mean, get up under a bridge, or you can get up under a lot of things, you know, as long as you keep the wind off of you. But I am reconsidering the tent situation too, because I have a multi-man tent that I can put in the vehicle and keep with me for travels with multiple people and stuff like that. But I'm rethinking the tent situation, and we can cover that a little more when we get in shelter. Now, water. Let's talk about water. Water is the most crucial thing you need beyond air. I mean, without water, dehydration, you're gonna die. And now what I do in my vehicle is I keep a Deer Park jug like this, standard equipment in my vehicle, okay? Sometimes I keep 2. Now, I'm going to invest in getting a bladder to go in my bag, and when I do, I'm going to put that water, when the crap hits the fan, I just pour it into the bladder, and then I'll keep it in my bag at that point because I don't want bacteria building up in that bag. I don't want you know, I don't want water just sitting there stale because I rotate through this constantly. I just got this one today and already used quite a bit of it on job site today building tiny homes. So that's my policy right now. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but you need to keep some kind of water source with you. Now, with that said, you also need to have ways to filter water. All right, now I've got multiple different ways to filter water out. And give me just a second, guys, I'll show you. I'm going to start with my least favorites, okay? Right here. All right, I'm going to hold this close so you can see it. And I apologize, I should have been holding more of this stuff. Portable Aqua, okay? Instructions are on it. You use this, then you use number 2, all right? And then it will sift the water down. Once it's cleared, you drink it, okay? That is not my pick of the litter, okay? I just try to keep as many options as possible, all right? And I'll show you right here. This right here, this is by Aqua Marina. Same thing, all right? It's just droplets, all right? And this kills bacteria like Cyprosporidium, Giardia, junk like that, right? And now this will treat up to 30 gallons of water, all right? So, I mean, you know, it's not ideal, but these are options. And, you know, not only that, they don't weigh a lot, so, you know, I could always use it as a barter item with somebody later down the road, okay? Now this, anybody that's ever worked in industrial maintenance, this is a commercial water key, all right? This will turn the water source on commercial buildings and stuff on and off. In city situations, pressure is still in the lines sometimes. And if you have the power go out or collapse or whatever, this key right here, especially up pressure, up the lines, like skyscrapers, etc., commercial buildings, etc., you can turn this key, open a water valve, and let that fall out into a water storage container, etc. And if you want to, you can still filter it after the fact. But this right here is a tool to access that water in commercial buildings. I highly encourage you to invest in one of these, because if you're stuck in the city, as long as you're near like many businesses, franchises, etc., and you see that looks like a square slot key hole on the outside near a water valve, this right here is the access point to engage that water valve. So guys, I highly encourage you to invest in this tool right here, okay? Especially you city preppers. Where you get the water key, I need that, have to order, or can you get it at any store? No, this is an online tool. Commercial water shutoff key, all right? Guys, if you have trouble finding it, email me at 7trumpetsprepper@gmail.com. Guys, find a link after this video. I'll try to drop it in there for you. That way you can just come back to the video after this publishes, and it'll be in there like tomorrow evening or something for you. All right, now, this is one of the original packagings of Live Straw, to give you an idea of how long I've had it. If you've seen a recent review we done on a gearbox, I think Abby helped me with it. It was 2 months ago now. We done an Apoca box review, and there was a Live Straw in it, and they got it now where it don't come in plastic packaging, which I'm not really a fan of that. I like the fact that it's in plastic packaging, because if I get in a nasty river or something, you know, my water straw is actually clean until I get ready to use it, and then I can flip the flip cap off this and drink from it. But check out Live Straw water filter, all right? And man, they make a bunch of different ones now. They've got the family, I think it's 2.0. They've got the Live Straw community. There's just a bunch of different products from Live Straw for water filtration. But now this is like the regular filtration stuff, you know, Cyprosporidium, Giardia. I've used Live Straw in the past, like fishing and stuff. I mean, it's great. It's clean. It's good filter. All right. But now I'm gonna tell y'all, when a trumpet start and etc., I think right here one of these filters that is, you can. Sorry, whoever just posted that about the Amazon Slick Lock key or whatever, can you share that comment again? I'm gonna share that information with everybody that's watching. This right here, this Prep SOS, you can check this out. All right, it comes with instructions and etc. I think this thing is good for 30 gallons, guys. It has a limitation, but this filters out, and you know, it's pretty much nuclear, biological, chemical water filter straw. It is a high intensity filtration system contained in a small package for filtering water. And I'm gonna hold this up close so you can see there's like super intensity and then like the carbon filter, okay? And I hope I never have to use this, but just in case, I mean, like, that is as intense as you can get. You can check that out at prepsos.com. Guys, I'm gonna drop you a lot of info tonight, a lot of different manufacturers, build or people that manufacture things, etc. You know, you can get stuff a lot of different places. I'm just telling you where that I got my stuff so that you can, you know, look into it for yourself. Now, let's talk about shelter. Like I said, I have a multi-person tent right now that I can put in the vehicle. I'm not carrying it right now because I'm local. Whenever you go out on the road and stuff, guys, you need to have something for shelter, especially if you need shelter in place. If your vehicle's going to be a shelter in place, then it is what it is. But I would highly encourage you to, at least if you're just individual by yourself like me a lot, get a one-man tent if nothing else. I gave mine to my son recently. And now I feel good about that. I'm helping him build a bug out bag. I'm trying to help everybody I love build a bug out bag, because you need this stuff. You need to be ready, because it's, bad things can happen at any time. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this bag down for a minute. Okay. I'm going to get that out of our work way. We've talked about fire. We've talked about water. Now let's talk about food. I'm going to step over here and grab some food items, and I'm going to talk about that real quickly. Okay, just bear with me. Now, this is stuff that I keep in my bag. You're going to be like, man, what is wrong with this guy after you see some of the stuff I keep? All right, now this is like at Dollar General. All right, guys, these are like $1. They're freeze-dried apple crisp, right? Thing about this is I can leave this in my bag until 7-10 of 20. Okay, that's how long this stuff's good for. So like I don't have to worry about constant rotation, and this will keep me from starving to death. All right, I mean it's gonna knock the edge off for a hot minute. I mean it's only 50 calories, but it's gonna knock the edge off for a minute to keep me walking. All right. But now that's not a meal. Like I said, it's just knocking the edge off. All right, right here. And they've got other ones. But I'm just trying, because a lot of us live on a budget, right? And so, you know, when I was in Dollar General one day, I seen they had these, and I bought these from different manufacturers. Matter of fact, I think it's beprepared.com I used to get my packs from. And now you can get them for $1. And freeze dry your own veggies and fruits. Absolutely, guys. If you haven't invested in a freeze dryer, and I apologize, this light is super hot, intense next to me tonight. If you haven't invested in freeze dryer, they're very expensive. But if you can grow your own produce and your fruits, man, the ultimate ability to store your own stuff, you know, if you're not doing vacuum sealing canning or pressure canning, that is a must-have if you can afford it. I definitely encourage you to get you one. All right, now, got these in there now too, guys. These are nutrition bars. The protein in this, so pretty much 2 bars, you can, you're getting pretty much 33% of everything you need. So it's 1/3 of the day's food right there, okay? Now, I've got some food preps that we can get into here soon. I've got some new stuff that I've been prepping, putting back. Matter of fact, there's this 2-week supply bucket by Patriot, I think it's Patriot Supply is who it's from. I'm going to share that with you. It's coming up this winter. It's a good time to talk about stuff like this because it's, you know, indoors and it's cold. And then, you know, packs of crackers, man. I mean, like right here, it's got, you know, a lot of fat in it. But, you know, I mean, it's got the calories at least will knock the edge off while you're walking, okay? And that's the thing. I'm not planning on dealing with a lot of drama with that. I mean, if I need to, I'll drop a line by a creek or something, go fishing, or try to harvest some kind of small game or something. If worst case scenario, if you're out there for multiple days, but I don't plan on that situation happening. But also, guys, these little gummies are good to knock the edge off for a quick walk home. They're organic now and they don't have pig in them, so for you folks out there, it's kosher. I mean, just that's the small stuff I keep in my bag because it doesn't weigh a lot, and you know, it's something to knock the edge off until I can walk to home. Okay, because you're not going to starve to death just in a few days, but you definitely will thirst to death if you don't have water. So that's my big thing for myself personally. But everybody's got to tailor your bag different, you know. I mean, that's what I'm saying as I'm going through this tonight. This is just ideas for you to put to use. All right. So we've talked about food, touched a little bit on shelter. We'll talk about sanitation just for a second, and then first aid. Sanitation is something we all really need to be mindful of. Right here, I keep this camping toilet paper in its container, and I'll tell you why. Once again, if I drop down in a river or if I'm walking through water and stuff, the last thing I want is my butt wiping paper wet. So with that said, that's why should EMP protection? Great question. Gene Gleason said, should EMP protection be a part of a bug out bag? I've got you something great to see in just a second, my friend, when we cover tech, so hang in here with us. That's a part of my bug out bag. Now, anyway, toilet paper is a must-have, guys. We all gotta take a potty break at times, okay? For you ladies that's watching, I highly encourage you, the wet wipes, the personal hygiene wipes. Men, I actually think we should keep some in our bag. I'm doing personal inventory tonight as we're going through, and I'm like, you know, that's something I really need to put in my bag. Matter of fact, everybody else's bag I've been helping build lately, I think I've made sure everybody's had some except myself, so I guess that's being a hypocrite. But, you know, toilet paper, personal hygiene wipes, stuff, a hand sanitizer, guys, that's a must-have. And keep in mind, everything I'm showing you, I'm trying to stay lightweight in my bag. So, you know, the that's the mindset I want you to stay in with what I'm doing. Is you can do yours heavy or light, but be able to carry it. Okay, so this weighs nothing, you know. So anyway, that's some sanitation. Now, first aid. Now, guys, if you're going to just keep everything in one bag, you know, if you're going to keep everything in one bag, a small IFAC per individual first aid kit is a great thing to have. Now, what I do, because I travel so much and I work on job sites so much, this is my bug out bag first aid kit. Now, we could spend half the night just talking about this, but it's got tourniquet, heavy duty trauma bandages, regular first aid kit equipment. Oh my goodness, you know, like surgical tool, you name it, dude. I mean, like, it's a small little MASH unit. But I mean, like, there's, I mean, I've even got gloves on the side there, sanitation, or, you know, nitrile protecting gloves. Got my blood type on there so that for some reason I got hurt or something, everybody knows it may be negative. I mean, like, guys, I just got a little gnome guy on there. He's awesome. I like my tactical gnome. But anyway, have a first aid kit in your bag, okay? But I keep this with me, and I can throw this across my shoulder if I need to. Yeah, blood type, that's extremely useful, guys. I mean, that's information we need to be aware of, you know, because you get laid up or hurt or something. People need to know these things. All right? Now, but now a regular first aid kit, I see now I've done something that most people would say, now that's not wise, to keep your first aid completely separate from your bug out bag. I think that I still should keep a small individual first aid kit in my bag, and I probably will add that later. But like I said, I do so much travel, so much work, that I just keep my whole first aid kit separate. Where will you go when it hits the fan? Guys, that is a great question. I spent years preparing my farm. I'm going to take a little pause and answer that question. Spent years preparing my farm for what was to come. And I lost my home and everything with a divorce and everything, and having to start everything over from the bottom. And right now, my main concern is getting my tiny house fixed up, because there's a lot of opportunities to move that to land and stuff. And so from there, I'm kind of, it's a work in progress. And you'll learn a lot more about where I'm at today next week before Sabbath, when I give you my journey of my way into the truth. So my journey into the truth. So you see what brought me to today, and where I kind of want to go from here, as far as also being prepared and have a place to go. With that said, guys, now we've talked about food, water, fire, shelter, sanitation. Something that somebody asked about a second ago was EMP protection, okay? So now I'm going to touch on that right now. And also I want to touch on some tech gear and etc. That way, you know, give you some ideas as far as some lightweight items to keep in your bag. This is all gear that I keep in my bag. All right, the person that asked about EMP protection. This is an EMP pouch, okay? Somebody said this is like a test study so you can pass the test. Absolutely, because we all going to be tested, folks, on the trumpet start. Very simple. Put your items in, fold the pouch, and then fold it to the Velcro. Guys, I see a lot of questions dropping. We'll, if time permit, when we get done here, I'll talk with you in like 30 minutes like I usually do. We can grind a lot of this out. But for those asking about the Faraday cage, you drop the equipment inside the bag, fold it, then fold and snap to the Velcro, okay? That way you have a shielded, isolated bag for your gear. Now, we all live in the age of technology. I have had the solar battery, solar-powered USB charge equipment, and, you know, it was like hit and miss. I'm not going to lie, guys. Like, some of them work, some of them don't seem to work well. So, you know, it just varies. But I think everybody should have, you know, a portable charging power pack bank. Now, this is mine. It's a very, very slim, very lightweight. I think it's 2,000 milliamp hour storage, I believe is what this one is. It's 2,000 or 4,000. Matter of fact, let me see. See what this one says. 3350. Okay, so it's like a 4,000 one. But that is my little power pack that I keep in my pack now. Lights. I don't keep much lighting. I keep a headlamp, okay? And then I also got this hybrid light, and this thing needs to be recharged. Yeah, it's going to need to be recharged back up. That's good to know, guys. You need to go through your bug out bag all the time. Is Kodiak Power Box a good box to have? Guys, I've seen a little bit about that. We can go over portable solar generators and power packs and stuff one night. We could discuss that. There's a lot of things we can talk about. But now, you know, these are lightweight lights, and this one's got the slide clip too, where you can put it on your head, a head clip. And guys, I encourage you to have some lighting and then some backup lighting. And then also, here's another light. I'm curious to, you know, the winter time's hard on batteries, and I keep this in my vehicle in the freezing all the time. Batteries is something that you need to check ever so often. I check them in the wintertime every 2 or 3 weeks because the cold will kill it. Here's another light I use. I've kept this in my pack for so long and had it in there so many years now. A cold has killed the batteries in it. And I had this stashed away extra in there. And really need to stay on top of your batteries. Right there, see, I have sand in my own bug out bag right there. But guys, that's why you need to go through this stuff. And I audit my bag from time to time and go through it, but I don't go through it as much as I should. And you really need to stay abreast of this stuff. Now this right here, most people look at this sideways right now and be like, what the world is this? This is a multi-country converter box for power. Although it's not really a stuff hit the fan item, I think that you should always have the ability to power your communication equipment, no matter where you're at in the world. And this right here is that converter box for pretty much Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, etc. And it's universal, and I highly encourage you to have this because one day it may come in handy and you may need it. And plus, if you're in a foreign country and they got a generator and need to plug up and power your American appliances or, you know, communication equipment or whatever, you're going to definitely want to have something to convert that, okay? Because they're not going to just be having American converter equipment there to power your stuff. They live in their country. They don't need to, you know, they don't need to cater to you. Yeah, that's the word I was searching for. All right, now, while we're still talking tech, another thing as far as lighting and etc. Excuse me, guys. As far as lighting and etc. is right here. Everybody needs a compass, and if you got one, it wouldn't be bad to have 2 or 3. This is the Garmin. I'm trying to remember what style watch this Garmin was. Abby got me this as a gift, but I also love it too because it's got the Father's clock in the sky. You can keep up with it on the watch there too. But as 3 compasses, this one doesn't require you know, even the GPS or you to be connected to a phone. It's still got the regular compass built inside of it. So I've got 3 backups for navigation. A map of wherever you're living or wherever you're at is super critical. Try to keep a map handy at all times of wherever you're at. And our dual fuel generator is good to have. Absolutely, guys. I had one for my tiny house. I just gave it to my son recently. Getting a bigger one, and we're doing a remodel, and it's getting a standard RV plug in it. But yes, dual fuel generators are great. I honestly would run propane on it all the time. And if you absolutely positively had to when the stuff hit the fan, then use gas. But in the meantime, don't use nothing but propane. Now that's just my personal opinion on that. Now another thing with tech is I think that everybody should have a set of binoculars. All right, now I have a small pair, but you need to be aware of your surroundings. And I think that if you know, if you have a set of binoculars, at least you can stay abreast of, you know, far on before you ever approach and get into the mix of the things. And you can see at least what's ahead of you. I think that's highly important. Now, some honorable mentions to some of the stuff that we talked about that, excuse me, that's being sifted and shifted around in my bag. These are a few oddball items that's being shifted into my bag, and some of them come from my bag, but they're just, I'm deciding what to take out and what to keep. This right here is a pry bar knife. I thought about taking this item out, and then it ended up I'm going to consider keeping it in my bag, because if stuff hits the fan and you need to get into utility rooms or etc., like if you're in the city, you can get to the commercial water access and etc. This right here would be a tool handy to help you pry through those places and get into there. So I'm still leaving this in my bag. It's a great handy tool. Plus, if you needed to get free, who knows, you get stuck in your vehicle, or etc. Another great item to help you get free of your vehicle too. So that's going to stay in my bag. Now, guys, just a quick note on some things that touch back on is everybody should have some rain gear, okay? Because it doesn't take much cold weather and rain to get you hypothermic, okay, in some bad situations and kill you. So I highly encourage that. These emergency blankets, one of these saved my life in Alaska. When we went up there to Alaska to work years and years ago, this was like 2013, I think it was. No, it was 2011, I believe it was. Gosh, I can't even remember how far back it's been. Might have been 2015. Yeah. Anyway, it was years and years ago now. When we went up there to work, the first night on the job site, I drove and drove and drove through America, Canada, got to Alaska finally. When I jumped out that night and went right into going 100 mile an hour like I do with things, that night I nearly froze to death. It was just such a shock to my body, just a complete change of environment, and I never really experienced that situation in my life, and literally jumped in one of these, and it was a lifesaver. On 3-day pack, how much fire starter is needed, and can it be the same kind of starter? Well, on a 3-day pack, you don't have to have a ton of fire starting equipment, but I mean, I would have a variety of fire starting equipment. I just wouldn't have one thing, guys. I believe in the redundancy rule. I like to have three. Everybody says three's a crowd, but I'll tell you what, I'd rather have a crowd in my backpack and a little extra weight, and have one or two of them fail and I still have something that'll work, than to just have one thing and rely on, because what is one is nine and two is one, okay, and three is at least a winner. I'll add my own part to that end. So, and here's another thing, bivy bag right there. That one's from Survival Frog. So I think that's just absolutely imperative to have. Another thing is, this used to be the sharpener that I kept in my bag, and right here I'm actually downgrading. Well, I wouldn't say downgrading, downsizing to the work sharp, because it has the tooling in it now, where that I can retighten up the screws and stuff that gets loose on my knives, and of course it's got the sharpening stones, and that's going to take up a lot less space. The weight is about the same, believe it or not. This is actually very heavy. But at least the space is not, it's not taking up that much space. This was actually a very bulky item in my bag, believe it or not. And I'm trying to relieve some space too, because of that stove going in there, and hope I don't end up regretting that later. But I'm sure that if I get extremely cold one night and broke down in the winter, that stove will probably make me feel a lot better about that. All right. We've talked about fire, water, food, shelter, sanitation. Talked about tech. I think we're going to touch on the last subject here that everybody's been probably waiting on. I'm sure a lot of people's been waiting on to hear about, is protection. Now, I carry multiple fixed blade knives, folding knives, a katana, a hand machete, and I'm just going to go through this stuff. Guys, this is in my vehicle all the time with me. The only thing that I'm showing that is not in my vehicle, and it's kind of been a flex item that I've considered on, is the fold down. I've got a fold down bow. It's a long bow, and it's just a silent but deadly weapon. And I want to say this real quickly before I show weapons on here. Guys, I love humanity. I want to see everybody saved and entering the kingdom. Now, if you are a person of discernment, and good judgment, and that's a video coming up soon that I'm going to talk about as well. We all know that the majority of people are not going to be in the kingdom. Okay, that's just facts. There's going to be very few people, especially in the last days, probably see salvation. So that tells us that a lot of people then are ending up going to be probably bad people and do terrible things to one another. Now you can be one of two things. You can either be a survivor or you can be a victim. Now I encourage you to be a survivor. There's no reason anybody should have to be a victim. Now with that said, I'm going to get some and we're going to go over these items one by one. First thing I'm going to go over with is this small katana. All right. Right here, very thin. This is not a high quality one, okay? But this is a throwaway weapon. You know, if I had to, you know, I mean, it looks like something off of like The Walking Dead, but you know, I guess it could be worse. I could have got out of the vehicle with Negan's bat or something. But this right here is, I keep this directly behind the driver's seat. In the world we live in anymore, you never know, with people, road rage and everything else, not to mention the stuff hit the fan, people get out of hand. This is a quick go-to weapon. I can go right over my back, pull right out, go to work. Another item that I keep this down below by my driver's seat. All right, now you can tell, if you look at it, it's really dirty from where it's laid up under there. I actually need to oil this. This right here. This is by Sniper Blade Works. All right. I need to clean it, guys. I need to clean and oil a lot of this stuff. Wipe it down. Need to go through your gear often. This right here is a multi-use survival tool, okay, by Creek Stewart. It's coming in a pocket box a long time ago. Keep this as well. It's pretty much, it's a little axe, as you can see, put together on the go. Also great for, you know, chopping up wood for campfire, etc., so you don't blow your personal protection weapons, etc. So I've got that I keep in my bag as well, okay, for on the go. Now I also keep this little folder. It's by M-Tech. It's nothing fancy, but Tonto type blade. That's what I keep. I'm just giving you some examples. You've seen the other fixed blade knife. It's about a 6-inch blade, I believe, on it, 5 or 6 inch blade. Now, this right here is a fold down bow. I'm not going to get it all out. You can just go back, check out the Battle Box reviews. It's about 4 or 5 boxes back now. I think it's back in the summer this year. Got this. This right here, arrows are down inside the bow itself. You can fold it down. Not too bad string. Just very, very nicely put together piece of equipment. I'm considering keeping this in my vehicle. Somebody said laugh out loud, those are fun. I tried one out recently. Yeah, I really like this thing, man. It's nice. And with some practice, I think a person could use this really effectively. I mean, this is reminds me of something out of like a Punisher. The Punisher would have. But anyway, they have an auto loading. I think magazine fed crossbow now, guys, that you can check out. It actually comes with a 5 arrow cartridge you can load up in it, so you can reload quickly if you had to in a self-defense situation. So that's something to look into as well if you're prepping. And now I've got this that I keep. These right here got different points on it. I can make you know, weapon in the field if I need to, with some sticks or etc. or whatever. And that's very, very lightweight, very small, doesn't take up a lot of space. I keep that in my bag as well. And some people might say, this is mad overkill with weapons. Guys, you can't never have enough protection. I just cannot overly state that, especially for women. I seen this video the other day where a woman was walking across the street in a city. The man pulls by her in a vehicle, pulls over to the side, gets out. He's a big old burly man, like probably 3 times her body mass. Goes over, looks like he's going to kidnap her, you know, obviously probably to sexually assault her. And she backs up, and then the next thing you know, She pulls out her pistol from behind the waistband, center mass shot, dropped his hind end like that. Ladies, you need to have protection. I cannot overly state that enough. We need to be physically fit. We need to be mentally awake. You need to have the means to protect yourself, because I'll tell you, bad people, they're going to come. Now, lastly, guys, last item on the list, right before I get to that, I'll tell you all this. I would encourage you to have some gloves, some kind of gloves. Now, I have mine that have the armored protection to it, like the knuckle and finger protection stuff. Yeah, pepper sprays are great too, guys. Tasers as well. I encourage you to have some gloves, because now if you have to punch somebody in the face, get physical, right here's a little bit of an advantage for you. Okay, so there's that. And then lastly, just right after this drink of water. Sorry, everybody. Got dehydrated at work today. Is need a gun cleaning kit, because right here, I encourage you to have a universal kit, and here's why. If you end up acquiring other firearms when stuff hits the fan, how you gonna clean that mess? But if you have a universal kit that you can clean them, then you're prepped for that to come. Like me, now I carry something. I've kind of got like a Rick Grimes special. Okay, I'm gonna be careful with this. Now I'm going to get a holster to go on the bag that I've changed to, because I've used that one now for multiple year now, and I know I'm consistently using it. I'm going to get me a holster to go on that with the black tactical Molly, so that I can put my pistol on there and pull from the side over, just like I can with my knife, because I'm a right-handed person. This is the pistol. All right, it's a Colt Trooper 357 Magnum. That's what I carry. Okay, she's loaded and ready to rock and roll. As a respect, I'm not going to point the barrel toward the screen. And guys, the reason I trust in a revolver is because that I've noticed with slide action pistols, and I say this as a NRA certified safety instructor, I just find that sometimes that reliability, especially on some manufacturers, is just, you can get failure to fire, failure to eject, and a revolver is it's just hard for a revolver to let you down, guys. That one don't go off, pull it back. Somebody said, Dirty Harry, that's me. Yeah, it is, guys. It's not a Rick Grimes Python, okay? It's pretty much about there. And the thing is, I'm gonna tell you, especially if the ladies that are watching and listening, you pull out a revolver on a man, I am telling you, he's gonna turn and go the other way. Yeah, lots of people are out of shape, guys. I'm out of shape too. Listen, if you look 10 years ago, I was a pencil. Now, my arms are getting bigger, I'm getting broader, stronger, but at the same time, I got a gut. And I need to drop like 15 pounds, and I've been planking. I've been doing run in place, jumps, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. I mean, I'm going to just try to kill it this winter and do it. I'm on a challenge right now. I'm just trying to. There's this app. It's fit.me, I think is what it is. I'll have to pull it back up, and I can share a link to anybody interested. But for people, it takes you from pretty much being morbid. Okay, you could be like morbidly obese. No disrespect to people. I'm just trying to help people out here. And you literally start a workout program day by day, and it's pictorial. And it's got amounts and time limit. Like if you're planking, 30 seconds today, a minute tomorrow, a minute and a half the next, slowly build up. And I think we all need to work on our physical fitness. I mean, used to, when I was in the Army ROTC program in high school, getting ready to go to the military, dude, I could just kill it, just run. Now, I'll pick up a tool, go work on a tiny house, climb a ladder, and climb back down. I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. We're all out of shape, a lot of us, and we need to just get physically fit, because, the pressure that's going to be applied on our lives later down the road, oh, my goodness. People's going to go from sitting in an office chair to trying to walk to a creek and get a 5-gallon bucket of water, and they're going to have a heart attack on the way back. because that they haven't had no physical fitness, you know. And I'm not trying to mock nobody. I'm just being serious, guys, and the crap that's in our food. Um, we all should be going vegan right now. I mean, I'm really trying not to eat breads, trying to cut soft drinks. I mean, I'm drinking water right now here on this video with y'all. I mean, like, it's just, we need to just cut a lot of this mess out of our lives. And if we're going to eat meat, eat like lamb and eat salmon. And yeah, I know this stuff's more expensive, but it's just like, think about the money it's going to be spent on medical costs fixing yourself later. I mean, you know, you're paying yourself forward if you ask me. And especially, you know, with a vegan diet, you'll lose weight fast enough when that mess hits the fan from all the running we'll be doing. It's exactly right, guys. We all gonna get that fitness plan going in full motion when the stuff hits the fan. So, guys, now this has just been a rundown of a lot of different options of, you know, stuff that is out of my own bag. And I'm not telling you you have to have the things that I have. I'm not telling you is a 100-liter backpack too much, guys. You've got to put the bag on. You've got to fill it with the gear that you want, and you've got to walk in it. You know, I put my bag on, I stand in the lines at the airport, walk all over the place, travel with it, hotel, truck, you know, just carry it all over the place. And, you know, it's comfortable to me. And I could put the belly strap on if I needed to assist me, but I don't even wear it. So you've got to find that point of comfort. If a bag is not comfortable to you, then or the gear that you've loaded down with is not your comfort level, you've got to work yourself up to that. It's not something I can't tell you what to do. It's got to be a thing you've got to feel it out for yourself. um, but everybody's different. But the main thing is you need some fire starting in there. You need some water preps. I mean, guys, if you've got a bug out bag and you ain't got anything in it, the first thing you should start with is water, then fire, shelter, protection. You've already got a cell phone on you. 65 pounds and I'm 50 years. Well, there you go. Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. If you're in shape and you can carry it, then I say go for it. But you know, like as you're building your bag, you really got to think about necessity first, and then like that stove, guys. If I have to, I could ditch that stove later on. It's not a necessity. That's a comfort item for me. So like that's the first like ridiculous comfort item I'm putting in there, and the reason I say ridiculous is because of the weight. The function is phenomenal, but the weight is insane. So I mean, it's like I'm putting, you know, the weight of 4 or 5 pounds of gear that I'm putting with that stove in my bag. I could put, you know, tons of other stuff in my bag. So I mean, to me, it was like it's worth it, and you got to ask yourself, you know, is it worth it? And you know, the absolutely. So guys, what I'm gonna do, that pretty much wraps up the build and information on that. Before I go into chatting with y'all, and I've got 20, 30 minutes I can burn with you tonight. It's always a pleasure to talk with you guys. I just want to tell you two things real quick. Actually, three things. Number one, please be mindful that December, we are in December. The new effect of YouTube's terms of service is going into effect, ladies and gentlemen. If you, now I'm not just saying this for me, I'm telling you this for all the YouTube content providers you watch. If you can support them, watch their content, especially watch any videos that they have advertisers on, because if they're not making money, YouTube can pretty much cut them loose. If you watch people's lives, super chat them. You know, whether it's just $1 or $2, so that they YouTube sees that they're actually making some kind of monetizable value to them. Because if not, YouTube can cut you, and they can use that as an excuse to get rid of us. Another thing is please be mindful also that if you are a YouTube content creator, you need to make sure to flag your videos that you are not made appropriate for children. Because I'm telling you, those folks that make children content, they are in hot water come the first year. It's going to get messed up. Now, one last note is that, let's see, I told you about YouTube. The other thing is, guys, now, next video, I'm going to be giving you a whole walkthrough of the past decade, my journey out of the Babylon into the truth. And here next week, you can look for some video up. I'm going to try to get an interview with Ron Dalton while I'm up there helping him. We get some free time. We'll sit down. Me and him's going to do a one-on-one interview together and share that video with you all. I hope that's a help to you. And guys, now one thing I left out on the bug out bag, and which is probably one of the most, actually the most important thing in our life right now, is the way to salvation through Yeshua HaMashiach. Keeping the commands, belief on the Most High Yah, and faith in His Son, sacrifice. You should keep a copy of the Word in your bag. Now, I keep Hallelujah Scriptures around, and I gave my waterproof copy to Abby for her stuff here recently. But now I encourage you to get the Hallelujah Scriptures Bible waterproof. Now, I don't know if the Et Sefer is waterproof right now. They've got a copy of it out waterproof, but when that becomes available, I highly encourage you to get that too. With that said, let the good comments roll. It is talk time with Luke, and I'm like I said, now I'm just hanging out now, guys. So I hope this video has been a help to you tonight. I'm gonna hang out here in the chat room for another 15-20 minutes, and y'all can fire away with the comments. I'm paying attention to the feed roll right now as they start to come in. So you just fire away. I'm listening, and we can talk it up. Matter of fact, while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to scroll back and see a couple, what somebody said here. The 10th is a purge. You are no joke about that, my friend. Absolutely no joke about that. Let's see what somebody said here. The geoengineering machine is working overtime. The movie Day After Tomorrow. Guys, I don't know if y'all seen it recently, but there was this thing shared about Australia. They were showing, I don't know if it was Australian people or a different media outlet that was trying to expose it, but they were geoengineering out around the outside edges around Australia, around the continent, so to keep the water, the rains pretty much turned away from coming in and just drying them out. And I'm telling you, like, I've got video of geoengineering where they've been doing it around here lately, spraying. And I'm telling you guys, they're just so blatantly open about it nowadays. And, that's the thing about drinking the water. I seen a lady that had shared a video, and guys, I'll get to your comments just saying, I'm just trying to start filtering through this as you hit. There was a lady talking about it, and she had her snow tested where it's starting to snow now. And it had it had like aluminum, barium, all this crazy stuff in the snow. It tested positive for all these elements. And it's like, how the flips that get there? I mean, aluminum don't just come down in snow unless it's been sprayed up there. Aluminum is an element we create, So I mean, it's just the mixing of metals. I'm like, are you kidding me? Okay, very helpful but stressed. Just turned 20 with no money and college debt, trying the best I can to prep. I have no other choice. All right, so here's the deal. We all are in different situations. Okay, guys, I'm post-divorced, starting over from the rock bottom up. I have a bug out bag, a tiny house, and a remodel process, and that's about it. And, I mean, when I get married the first year, and me and Abby move into the tiny house once it's finished up, I mean, the question to me at that point is, okay, I have a piece of land, and I get a piece of land. What happens one day when I have to leave the tiny house? Like, I feel like a lot of us that love the Most High are one day going to be living in a tent in the woods, because we can build all the communities in the world, we can do all the things to get ready and etc. And I do this work for people all the time. I've helped people on homesteads and communities and you name it, and done tons of off-grid work. And my thing is, I feel like Uncle Sam's going to come knocking one day. And I believe that the persecution is going to be just like the Roman church done to the early believers. It's going to be like the early church even before Rome's persecution. And I just think that everybody's going to be scattered abroad. And that's why I just consistently still stand behind the policy that if I was wealthy, I would go live in a crap hole third world country and leave this land than to risk it here. Because if I live in a third world crap hole country, the next day after the trumpets start, it's still going to be a third world crap hole country. But here in America, it's going to be the gates of hell. And you know, I mean, it's just how it is. And so I wouldn't beat myself up about that, guys. Just hang in there. Have you also stored food bug out bags or just for leaving your boat? Okay, Dawood Ben Yisrael. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. On my farm, my family farm, I still have food prep back at family's farm, and I don't want to get too much into you know, things like that anymore because I want to keep stuff on the low down. But to answer the question, yes, there's food prep back to a certain extent. And you know, guys, you need to look at the situation like this: 3 days, 30 days, 3 months, 3 year. It's the way I look at it, the 3-3-3-3 rule. Okay, get your 3 days together first, then you get your 30 days together, then you get your 3 months together, then you get your 3 year. And if you can get to that point, you know, or a year, if you can't get to 3, at least a year. And when you're up to that point, you know, the thing is, if it all goes to crap and you've got seeds put back, and I have seeds put back in various locations, so that if someplace lost everything, I still have seeds. Because if you can just get through winters on your prep food and actually eat grown food in the summer, you can stretch stuff out a long, long way. And I say that as being a farmer for all my life, pretty much, and being raised on a farm. Uh, Antarctica is acting up right now, and let's see, and so are the militaries down there too. Oh, guys, they don't. Did y'all see where that? I think they killed a researcher recent time back that they wanted to go and expose the flat Earth to people down there. I think was honestly the real expedition. And next thing you know, that guy, they killed him. And I think they had turned away the their boat and everything too, but I think some of the people still lived. They just ended up killing that one researcher guy later, and I can't remember how it all went down. But guys, it's the same story all the time. I mean, you know, anybody that's ever going to try to go down to Antarctica and expose the truth to people, something bad's going to happen to them. You can get quite a few good things at Dollar Tree for a bug out bag if you're on a budget. Absolutely. Somebody said the apostles and our king were homeless. Yeah, guys. I mean, you look at the Son of the Most High Yah. Look how he lived his life, just traveling to and fro, and just a humble, simple life. I mean, I just don't think people have a full, clear grasp of just how bad the human fecal matter is going to hit the vertical oscillator one day. And shout out to Bradley, my son John's friend. He's the one that got me started on that kick, man. That it just, I don't think people have a clear picture of just how bad it's going to get. I mean, all these people, man. And I used to be one of these people, okay? So I don't want to sound, dude, government. Let me tell you something, folks. One day, people that stand up for the name of the Most High Yah, law will be sitting in prison cells and getting their head lops off on guillotines and murdered for the witness of the truth and running in the woods. And I mean, it's just going to get cleaned up off the rails. And I just don't see how that the government's just going to let people set up in their compounds and set up on their communities and set up on their farms and their cabins and their tiny homes out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, darn, you live in a tiny house anymore. They try and make living in tiny houses terrorism. You know, I'm freaking terrorist for living in your tiny house, breaking multiple violation codes in your county and your state and blah blah. I mean, it's just can't catch rainwater anymore. That's a violation of code and state law, and it's just getting stupid, man. Yeah, look at there, people dropping the scripts, man. The scriptures don't lie. Somebody said, witness of Yahuwah says, Shalom, family. I think of the scripture, Matthew 8:20. Foxes have holes, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Shout out to you, my friend. Most High Yah keep you. Absolutely. I mean, guys, I mean, the time's coming when You just, the thing that gets me is community's great. I think community's a wonderful thing. I mean, we all need each other to rely on, but I just think that the government is a servant of Satan, and they're watching us. And one day they're going to come knocking at the door. It'll start with the big things like that, and then and let us all not forget Judas's. Oh, there'll be a Judas. There's a Judas in every crowd. I mean, there's a Judas in every crowd, and people sell one another out. It'll be your family first that'll sell you out, then your friends, then co-workers, uh, people that you have communications with, and etc. Um, there's going to be somehow, some way, people is going to throw you under the bus, let alone the government looking for people. And now, the good thing I will say about this, and I've been thinking about this, is when the trumpets start, I think the government's going to be deeply displaced for a while. So if you want to make that clean exit, I think that's one of the best decisions you can do. Is if you have a plan in place, you need to, on the front end, before the trumpets start or right as they start, if you still have a moment in time, just like the people had a moment in time before Titus destroyed Jerusalem in 70 AD. People's like, we get to flip up out of here. And then right after that, then it was just full on destruction. So I'm telling you, I think like that golden window, if you're going to get up out of this thing, get up out of this thing. You want to risk it, third world countries or out in the woods or out in the middle of nowhere, you better do it, because I'm telling you, the time's coming when, the wall, everybody's building the wall and can't even get a flight anymore here in Tennessee coming up next year unless you have a gold star on your new driver's license. All right, let's see what here. AI is Satan's way of being everywhere, trying to be like the Most High. Dude, let me pause right there. Comments on 9/11, guys. I'm getting to your comments. Have y'all seen that meme on Facebook that it has the Terminator movie and it has like multiple sections and it says like 1998 or something, and it has like somebody trying to make pretty much like a Terminator drone, and then like it shows like 2000 something and the thing's walking on a conveyor belt, or what is the thing when we go to the gym and work out? The thing's running, you have to run on it. Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. And then you got the next thing is now the thing's like carrying a weapon or something. Anyway, it keeps on until it gets to the scene and it shows Terminator, and I think it says it's the year 2029. And it's like AI is getting so far advanced and out of hand that you pretty much could have the Terminator scenario. The government really don't even need a military anymore. A treadmill, thank you. Mercy goodness, guys, I'm sorry. My brain just fried today. All right, somebody says, Trinity says, I was homeless with 2 kids, trial after trial, and I complained to the Most High. He said, what are you going to do when persecution comes? And now he is like, can't depend on the world system. I go down on New Moon Day, and our fellowship goes down, and we feed the homeless in Knoxville. And I look at those people, and I think to myself, I'm always trying to be observant. Like I said in the video coming up about discernment and judgment, the importance of it in the last days. And I'm going to talk about that this week. And matter of fact, I probably might produce it tomorrow on Sabbath later in the afternoon. You look at those people, and they have been drug users, divorced and lost everything. People that just fell on hard times. People that got sick. There's a mixed multitude of all walks and ethnicities and age groups, and etc. But one thing is striking to me is they thrive and still live. And if homeless people can make it, okay, now just track with me for a second. If homeless people can still survive in such terrible conditions, then those of us that have the mental fortitude to understand that which is to come, when everybody else is losing their mind during the trumpets, we are mindful of what's going on. If we can get into that same mode that homeless people get into, that they can make it from one day to the next. I'll get to tomorrow, and tomorrow comes, I'll get to tomorrow. If we can stay in that mode, that right there, that alone can do so much mentally to keep a man alive. Because those people that are homeless literally
have it down. And I hate it that they're homeless. You know, if I was rich, man, I'd try to help everybody I could. But the thing is they have a mentality that keeps them going. And we've got to get to that mentality where it's like a lot of people, they'll lose their car, they'll lose their marriage, they'll lose their job, they lose all this stuff. And it's like, that's the end of the world for me. It's like, bro, you do understand that like 1,000 years ago, a lot of people were still living in tents. They hunted their own food. They lived day to day. I mean, we lived in such a relaxed society that people don't even really understand just how good a life we have. Um, Homeless have skills most will need soon one day. Absolutely. You better believe that. Thank you for a new. Absolutely, guys. Glad to help you. I hope this video is a help to you. All right, give me just a second. Our government have made deals with these fallen angels to keep them hidden and round us up. Have the full armor, y'all. Oh, guys, I'm telling y'all, if y'all didn't see that Foot Locker commercial breakdown video I made, listen, these people in government know exactly what's going on. I am telling you, absolutely know what's going on. He spoke and said, I declare the end from the beginning. Then he spoke and said, prepare as Joseph did. Change is definitely coming. Let's see. The easiest human to sell their souls is the greedy ones, government and politicians. They use movies to actually show what they're up to, but the unbeliever can't see it. Absolutely, folks. They don't. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to share it again in that video that I'm about to make about judgment and discernment. Listen, I had an instance happen the other day, and the Most High God taught me something. That I was talking to a coworker, and we were going to lunch together, and the conversation was about red pill and just life and, you know, all the things me and him had experienced. And he said, well, you know, it could always be worse. You could always be one of them flat earther people. And I looked at him and I was like, what if I was one of those people? And he's like, oh, no. And I said, hang on. And he said, I'll give you 3 minutes. I said, very good. Give me 3 minutes in the courtroom here, and I will present my case before the judge here. And by the end of the workday, he was questioning everything and literally doing his own thought process into, yeah, that makes sense, Luke, that makes sense. Literally the same night, I got into it with a family member, and we've gotten into this many times over about the flat Earth and other things, and all they want to do is argue. And the thing is, it's not that I don't think they have the intelligence to see it. They just don't want to see it. They don't care. I mean, it's not even about caring. They just want to debate. They just want to have strife. They just want to have conflict. And honestly, people, I just believe a lot of people that so-called are believers aren't believers at all. They just, it's like a social gathering for them. It's just a feel-good thing. But they just really don't care about the truth. They just care about whatever story feels good to them, but they just really don't care about the value of the real truth. We have to learn to live off the land, utilize the resources Most High Yah has gave us. Absolutely. Somebody said, funny how they mock the Israelites in the Foot Locker commercial. So obvious. Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody says, Yah has given me all kinds of dreams of chaos coming to the land. Give me just a second. I keep asking him, when he hasn't got back to me yet on that, though. Patience required. He's teaching me. I'll tell you what, guys, I've been having all sorts of weird dreams here this past year. It has just been some weird dreams. And I'm telling you, I talk to a lot of people, and people say they have dreams that they see fire in the sky, and people run, and cities being wiped out by the waves, and just, I mean, it would be different if it's just one or two people says it, but you talk to people all across the land and the world, and all these people just, have a lot of similarities in their dreams, and it's just like, I don't think people's making this stuff up. So many people are stuck on selfishness today. Selfishness and being self-God's not equals not good. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you look back on some of the videos I made, one of the lives I spoke about this recently. If you look at narcissism, and got indigestion or something now, guys, it's just belching like crazy. I apologize, but if you look, there's narcissistic people and empathic people. And if you notice a lot of the kind-hearted, good people in this life that love y'all, they definitely carry the traits of empathic, and not only that, the fruits of the Spirit. If you look at a lot of people, even in faith, that is jacked up and mean toward other people, it's full of narcissism in a lot of these people. Yeah, it's easy to discern between a lot of them anymore. Y'all has been giving me dreams as well. Just today I was thinking, is it just me? No, don't listen, folks. Don't think that it's just you. A lot of people's had some wild dreams. I mean, and we can talk about that one night. I'd love to have an opportunity where people could just share, their experiences and stuff. But I'm going to tell you it's this, and then I'm going to wrap up. I really do have concerns um, that the ability for us to communicate in the future is going to be really tightened down. Now, listen, I don't know how long I have with it's on YouTube. And to those that are listening to me and follow this channel for years, I hope the Most High I'll keep you, watch over you. But I feel like it's going to start really crunching down. Facebook, YouTube, all over the place, man. Just all over the place, all across the board. Oh, excuse me, folks. Sorry. Just working a lot here lately. And I just feel like it's going to get really, really, really clamped down soon. And the fact that after all these years that they're finally starting to put the clamps on tells me that something big is probably on the horizon here in the next year or two. And I just think we're a matter of years away from the crap hitting the fan. I don't think it's in double digits anymore. I think we're in the single digits. And yeah, absolutely, guys. I hope nothing happens to my YouTube either, but by all means, you ever want to get in touch with me, it's the number 7, and it's trumpetsprepper@gmail.com. And I wish you all the best out there, because it has been an absolute wonderful journey. Met a lot of you great people, been able to fellowship with a lot of people, been able to work for a lot of people, been able to help other people's YouTube and ministries grow and share, network other people one to another. Guy contacted me the other day. I sent him over to fellowship with Pastor William Brown, my friend over at Boom Church. And, I've told people over the years about Straightway. I've told people about, goodness, man, my mind is just, I'm telling you what, guys, my mind is just literally going blank. But Pastor Jansen and them down there, in Georgia, I've tried to help network people, because whether we all agree on every last point of doctrine, we need one another. And if there's ever been a time that we need unity in faith, and unity in the body of Messiah, it's now. Whether Hebrew or Gentile, we all will need each other when it all comes down to it one day. Especially those of us, the nation converted, we really need one another, because a lot of our family and friends are not going to come to the truth. I mean, those of us that are among the nations that's waking up, I definitely count it an immense baruch from the Most High Yah, because a lot of my family and friends just don't get flipped. And they've seen my walk for a decade, and it ain't been perfect, but by goodness, when it comes to what I believe in, tenets in the scripture, I've walked it out, and when I found something new, I walked in it. But guys, it's getting real out here. It is getting real. And we need to get our gear ready. We need to get our minds ready. We need to get our soul, our heart, mind, spirit. I mean, everything. We just need to get it all. We need to get our houses in order, myself included. And now's the time. So, guys, next Sabbath or next week, live video will be about my journey into the truth. It's been a decade of just waking up to one truth after another and trying my best to apply it and walk it out. And hope the video coming up, I hope that it's my testimony and my journey. I hope it's an inspiration and a help to others. It has been one heck of a ride, and I lost a lot of things along the way, but it was all worth it in the end. So guys, as the good old folks at the Baptist church, I think, would say, they'd say, if all hearts and minds are clear and there's no other things on anybody's heart, as always, guys, until we see you here again at Seven Trumpets Prepper channel, I hope the Most High Yah baruch you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends. Love y'all, and have a very blessed night out there.